Okay, hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear me loud and clear. We are off the Vimeo stream and doing just the traditional broadcast into the members area. So I'd love to get some quick feedback because I can actually see. I hope I can. I don't know if that's going to be open yet, but as long as you guys can hear me loud and clear, that's good to know. Andy, are you going to be the one to kind of confirm there with me over here if I'm loud and clear?
You're sounding good.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. So today's session is going to be a little bit of new stuff, some really good kind of pieces to the puzzle, but this is going to be class 4. So we're going to spend the majority of our time today really reviewing all the core concepts that we've been through and then putting them together in an implementation session at the end of the training. And then when we move into Q&A today, I did the slide deck a little bit differently based on the requests of last week to where I left a lot of my implementation slides all in one section so that we can go back through those as you ask questions so I can give you visuals and we can get a little more detailed during the Q&A. So this is going to be a great time if you've been through the previous 3 weeks of training. Today's going to be a great opportunity for you to kind of put all that together and bring it in to one concept and moving forward plan as we go into Act 2 and we start talking about setting up our campaigns. So the whole thing about today is going to be strategy, because as you know, when it comes to any competitive market, there's no way to enter a competitive market without a really solid strategy on all levels. Competitive markets are really lucrative. That's why they're competitive. But the nature of the beast is that you have to be very strategic to get into a competitive space and get some of that market share. So these are some gold rush miners from back in the Deadwood days. And the theme of today's class is going to be the merchant, which of course is, as everybody on this session, back in time, there were some amazing merchants that started their businesses back in the gold rush. And my favorite is Levi Strauss. They're a classic brand. They ran their first advertisements in the early 1800s. During the gold rush, they were actually growing tremendously through advertising. They ran ads just about everywhere to everyone. And they were even back in 1875, Levi's ads were extremely targeted. As you can see here, they had designed the first pair of denim, as everybody knows, but the jeans were designed for miners with the copper rivets and the same design that you see today. But it was designed for the guys that were down mining gold. It was that was the market that Levi's designed the first blue jeans for. So you can see even there that they targeted their ads to the miner. You know, they had a really kind of good custom creative design just to capture their market. So since as early as 1875, Levi's has been on point. So today you can see that Levi's is on Amazon. And what I'm going to show you in this summary today, which is why this relates, is all of today's strategies are exactly the same strategies that you would use to roll out a big brand. And I personally manage a lot of big brands and in a lot of categories on Amazon. So what I'm showing you today, while it may seem, holy cow, so complex to go through the last 3 weeks, so overwhelming, and for me too, right? Because, you know, I want to make sure you guys get everything you need, and I'm watching the feedback, and hopefully today's session will fill some of the gaps. But at the same time, we really wouldn't be able to compete if we didn't do things that were next level, right? We need to push it far beyond our competition. And the strategies that I use, which is why Jason brought me here, are the strategies that I use on big brands. And these are the strategies that big brands have paid me for a long time, for nearly 15 years. Since as early as 2004, I've been doing big scale campaigns for the biggest brands on the internet. So when I come over here and I teach you guys this, I know it seems like quite a bit, but the strategy that I'm rolling out is the strategy that you want to roll out to take market share. It's the strategy that you want to roll out to get in front of your competition and get their sales. It's absolutely proven. It's something I use over and over and again, and it's something that's still running for me successfully today on Amazon and multiple accounts on the agency side. So when we look at Levi's numbers, you can see that they've gone ahead and invested in sponsored products. They've got, with just their sponsored products initiative, they were able to go from 3% of Amazon share to 30% in their impressions. So they were getting about 3% of total impressions over on Amazon, and now they're up to 30%. And the way that they took more of their Amazon market, the CEO saw that it was a very lucrative for them. It's just a wholesale channel, but he saw that it was a very lucrative channel. So he really put all in, he put all cards on the table, and he went for sponsored products and headline search and their ad spend. And he can see that it's got tremendous payoff. Campaigns are profitable, and Levi's dominates, as we'll see today, the women's jeans and most jeans categories on Amazon. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to define our priorities. And this is going to be a really quick summary, and then I'm going to move straight into implementation at the end of this session so that we can get past the high-level concepts and right down into the actual visuals of how it's done and why it works, so that you guys can get a better idea of exactly how to duplicate this in your own campaigns. So defining our priorities. So to review what we've been through, the 3 priorities that you have to define in your campaigns is you have to define your products. Advertising is not for every product. Advertising is to create category leaders, it's to capture market share, and it's a pretty big investment of time and energy and cash flow to take a big market. So you don't want to put all products in all markets and try to advertise them all out the gate. You want to pick your best selling products. I'm going to show you some examples of campaign structure and product selection as we move into the implementation. But the next high level concept is going to be competitors. When you're coming into Amazon, because 80% of the traffic is taking place and the buying decisions on those product pages, you really can't have an Amazon strategy without a solid competitive strategy first. Now, your last step is going to be your keywords, and that's where 80% of your total sales will come, while your 80% of your visibility is going to come off competitors' pages. Make sure that you take a note of that to define exactly what I'm saying here. 80% of your visibility, which means your ads are going to be seen 80% of the time on product pages. And then your keywords are going to drive 80% of your sales over on the homepage of search, right? So you have premium positions in search driving 80% of conversions, and then you have premium position on competitors' pages driving 80% of your visibility. And we're going to clarify this today, so be sure if you have questions that you have them ready. So products first, not all products, only best-selling products. If you have 40 SKUs and there are only 4 products, you don't have 40 SKUs to advertise. And I'm going to show you specific examples of that today. But if you have 40 SKUs, 40 variations, but there are only 4 distinct products, you don't have 40 things to advertise. You have 4 products to advertise, and of those 4, probably 2, maybe 3 are a prime candidate for advertising, and maybe only 1 or 2 will scale profitably. So back to the summary. You're going to advertise your best-selling products with the highest conversion rates. So when you go to grab that, you go into a business report, you sort your session unit conversion rates, unit percentages. The products that convert to sales at a high rate that already have natural velocity are the ones that are going to be the best to test in advertising. Second is your fiercest competitors rank in multiple places. We've had a lot of questions about selecting competitors. So they are going to be in multiple places. The ones you want to pay attention to, just so you know, about 80% of your competitors don't even matter. They're not going to even get in your way. They certainly are not an obstacle to traffic. But you have a small sliver, maybe 3 to 5 competitors that are fierce. And to get anything you want, you will have to get past them. So to define a fierce competitor, you need to make sure that you're looking in multiple places. It's those competitors that show up in paid placement, in organic placement, in bestseller placements, and then they have high sales velocity on top of that. Those are your fiercest competitors. When you look at the pages that you want to target and the keywords competitively that you're going to target for their brands, you're looking for those overlapping competitors, paid, organic, and bestseller. Now, you're going to compile your competitors' brand keywords that have the highest visibility. We've been through this in the implementation sessions, right? So with that, you're going to go ahead, you're going to select your competitors. We could do a quick review on that today. You'll select your competitors. You're going to get their brand keywords, and you're going to put them in their own ad group within your campaign to target those pages. You're going to determine the keywords that drive the highest number of sales in the market. So when we go back to that strategy, it starts and it ends with that word tree report where we went ahead and put those top 10 competitors into the tool. And then it went ahead and it let us see what all the organic and paid keywords were that were driving sales across all of those competitors. So you definitely want to utilize that report like we discussed in the competitive strategy and in the market share strategy. You want to understand which keywords are already driving sales. You're going to select keywords that describe your product's features and benefits. If you don't know which keywords to start with when you see a keyword list, the keyword should have a distinct product or benefit in the keyword term. It should somehow uniquely define your product or uniquely describe it in a way that is feature and benefit driven. That's the way you know you have a good keyword to start. So anything that you're doing there, it can also be if you have something in like health or beauty, you could be starting in the problem solution space, a keyword that defines a problem or a solution, right? So a problem would be itchy, right? So that would be someone's problem and they might come searching for something to solve their itch. That's a really good keyword. They're defining a problem in their keyword, and that keyword is going to convert to sales because they're closer to buying. That's what we call the shop keywords. They've already defined some characteristics for the product they're looking for. And if your product has those characteristics, it's going to have a higher chance of converting, making your advertising profitable. Okay, next summary, we're going to find the opportunities, right? Because strategy is about two things. Strategy is only strategy when you capitalize on opportunities and you get past obstacles. That is the true definition of strategy, is to define and capitalize on an opportunity and to get over and to overcome an obstacle. That's the only thing strategy is useful for. It's not a goal system. It's not a to-do list. It's not a task list. Strategy has two objectives: get the opportunities, get past the obstacles, and strategy is designed to accomplish those two objectives. So let's find our opportunities. So opportunities, the opportunities on Amazon for you to go past your competition and do things they've never thought of, and for you to gain an advantage that will stick with your advertising campaigns for the lifetime of the build, is that you want to make sure you are capitalizing on placements, on search terms, and match types. These are the places that present massive opportunities in Amazon for scale, massive opportunities for profit. So when you're running ad campaigns, put your focus on these things: your placements, your search terms, and your match types, and you're going to see tremendous results. Again, at the end of this session, I'm going to show you implementation and walk you through step-by-step how to apply this stuff to campaigns so that maybe you'll get a more solid idea of how you can take these strategies and put them to work for you. Okay, so the search terms are the key to scaling advertising for increased sales. That's the only ticket. There's no, everything else is just guesswork. When you go find keywords in a keyword tool, it's just guesswork. Your search terms that are defined in the report showing sales data, and we're going to review some search term reports here. Those search terms are the gold. That's the way to make the money with advertising from the beginning of time. Search marketing is driven by search terms, not keywords. So your keywords are a guess. They're a very small bet. The only way to make big moves is to put them on your search terms. You want to separate your keywords into single keyword broad and phrase ad groups. This is super important for the algorithm. This is super important so you can get maximum visibility and get as much keyword discovery and exposure as possible out of the limited number of keywords that are going to drive sales for you in the mid-tail, right? When you start out with some good targeted keywords, there's going to be a limit to how much you can convert there. So you really want to make sure that you maximize the keywords that are at the top of the shopper funnel and get as many sales as possible. You're going to leverage broad and phrase match for reach and keyword discovery. That is a huge opportunity. If you use the keywords structure correctly, you're going to end up with a lot more search terms, which is going to give you a lot more sales. And I'm going to show you some numbers on that here in a bit. Single word phrase match is the best way to structure negative keywords. I've had some questions about this. Don't get too granular with negatives. Negatives are not in Amazon. It's not a text-based search engine. People start out very broad in their search. They are category searches. People get a little more focused as they continue the session and start to define what they want. But no matter what you're looking at in Amazon, the broadest keywords that are going to make you the most money, that are going to capture your market share, are going to be fairly general. Not so general, they're not relevant, but there's really a tipping point there. You need a lot of visibility in Amazon because every impression for your ad is a free view of your product. It is free branding and it is free exposure. You need impressions. Negative keywords on the algorithm side, from a technical, engineering, algorithm structure, negative keywords will filter impressions if you use them too aggressively. It's too confusing for the algorithm, again, unless you speak search. It's too confusing for the algorithm to define, you do want to show on this keyword, you don't want to show on this keyword. So I know people like to get tricky, especially when they're trying to shave a few pennies off their ACoS, which is, again, totally useless in Amazon, but it's not the right strategy. You're not trying to count pennies here. You're trying to rob the safe, right? You need to drop your piggy bank. Do not get crazy with your negatives. Now, do I use a really good negative strategy? I do, but I use single keywords, and we'll go through this in implementation. I use single keywords to define things that aren't relevant to my product, and I use them as just a negative phrase match at the campaign level. I keep them very broad, but I make sure I filter out any irrelevant searches with a single word. And that is the very best way to do it. Sometimes I have 100 negative single words in a good campaign, especially if I'm running an auto campaign or a single keyword campaign. I do use negatives, right? Or single keyword ad group. Within my campaign, I always have a nice negative list, but I'm only using single words. I'm not trying to get tricky and start to negative out words, not on Amazon at least, because it's just too risky that I'll send the wrong signal and filter my traffic unnecessarily. You want to target a combination of category, brand, and competitor keywords. Don't overlook your brand keywords. Don't overlook your category keywords. But the most important thing about this is the sequence. When it comes to your budget, which we're going to go deep into budget at the end, when it comes to doing your budget, you want to go in this direction, right? You've got to tackle your category, the keywords that define the products in your category. Those are the first things that you have to rank on, sell on, and build sales history on. From there, you have to always have your brand keywords in. They're basically free, like 5% ACoS to convert hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales when they get going. Have to have your brand, have to have your category. If you have additional budget, then you need to have competitors. But it goes in that order. As you're prioritizing your optimization, as you're prioritizing your builds and your structure and your strategy, category first with brand and then competitors. It's super important that you take those category keywords because 80% of your sales conversions are going to come out of those. Now, yeah, you want to beef up the visibility without question, but it's a phase 2 objective, just like I talked about in Train Robber, just like I talked about in the preview calls. When you're talking about your objectives, you're going to want to tier them. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. You can't have everything all the time. You've got to focus. So when you're getting focused, it's going to be category keywords with brand and then competitors for visibility. So when you lock down the ad rank and the search positions on those main keywords that build your sales history, then you go beef up your visibility with competitor targeting, then you get a really nice equation. The competitors on their own are not going to convert for you. You need to have some top of search on your main category keywords to make the whole equation work. So in that sequence, category, brand, competitors. Now, we're going to plan for our obstacles. Super important on this one because obstacles are always going to be there in business. So if we don't plan for them, it's either that we're naive or we're fooling ourselves, maybe delusional, who knows what it would be on the worst day or the best day, but we all are guilty of it. But we would be naive at best to not plan for our obstacles in business. Your obstacles in search are these things. Your obstacles in advertising are these things. If you have an advertising problem right now, if you have a campaign that is not performing, if you are not sure what to focus on, your obstacles are only 3 things, and I'm going to show you in the implementation exactly how to see these things. Conversion, your cost per click, and the relevance of your targeting. Those are the only things that create obstacles in your campaign to success. You must get past them. Conversion, the product isn't selling as much as you would like. The product isn't converting at a rate that is profitable on a specific keyword. That is a problem. You'll have to address it. Cost per click, the CPC is high on that particular keyword. Again, you're going to need to push things like ad rank and other strategies to work through that CPC issue. If the cost per click continues to be high, you have to cap it. You have to lower your cost per click. You have to manage your cost per click at the keyword level when it gets tight and at the ad group level when it's open budget. We'll cover that during implementation as well. Relevance. Most of the time, if something doesn't convert for you, if it's not a CPC issue and it's not a conversion itself issue, it's a relevance issue. The keywords that you're targeting are not relevant enough. The placements that you're targeting are not relevant enough. Nothing to worry about. You wouldn't want to cry over spilled milk. You just move on, right? Just kill it and keep on going. But you definitely need to know those are your 3 obstacles. Always in advertising, in any platform, anytime, anywhere, these will always get in your way, and you will need strategies, which we're covering in this session and especially in the next 2 acts, on how to get past these obstacles. It is a campaign build and optimization strategy in detail, but even from your research phase, we focus on relevance and we focus on some of these details in your campaign cleanup because these will be the obstacles that slow you down. So you want to bid for rank first to maximize sales, then reduce your bid for profitability. Amazon is an incredibly tight platform. Everything is rewarded based on sales history. You gotta get to that top of search placement where 80% of all sales conversions happen in search. To be fearless with advertising, you need a budget, clear priorities. I'm gonna talk more about it here at the end of this session, go into implementation. But you definitely need a budget and you need clear priorities, the things that we've discussed here today. You need to pick your products, define them with priorities, and not what you want to sell, not what you need to sell, but what the data says you should be selling. Pick your products as a clear priority. Pick your competitors based on their rank and their sales velocity. Pick your keywords based on their relevance, right? You need to really define these priorities so that your budget can be very maximized, can just power growth in your business and get all the hard work at the end of the day, make it all worth it. Okay, capping your bids will lower your ACoS and reduce wasted ad spend. It's the key. Your entire campaign management is at the keyword level when it comes to cost, right? You can kind of use ad groups for scale, and we'll cover that more in a minute, but you got to use your keywords for cost. If something is bleeding money, it's a keyword issue, you have to lower those CPCs. I'm going to show you some examples of cap bids and how to do it, but that's going to be the key. So if you have some runaway campaigns right now, you're trying to get everything organized as we go into Act 2 to build the new stuff, you definitely are going to want to be capping those CPCs at the keyword level on the stuff that is not profitable for you or coming in at your target ACoS or below it. Okay, we're going to optimize impressions, clicks, and conversions at the keyword level, right? So with that, we talk about optimization. The key to good optimization is keyword optimization. You can optimize campaigns and ad groups, but there's nothing to be won in a campaign optimization or an ad group optimization. Those are you're not even in a place to pull any levers. Every keyword is a lever. Every keyword is going to define your performance. Every keyword is going to define your sales. Every keyword is going to define your profits. It's the keywords that win and lose, nothing else in the campaign. It's all in your targeting. It's placements, it's keywords. Everything that you're targeting is how you start to look at your campaigns to see what's working and not. So again, if you have some really messy campaigns right now and they don't have, if you have clicks not converting to sales, if you have impressions not converting to clicks, and you've got this data over 90 days, you got to shut those things down. You just got to pause them. They're not helping you at all. If you have keywords If you have clicks that don't convert to sales, it doesn't matter how long they've ran. If you've ran 10 plus clicks and you're still not seeing a sale, it's not going to work for you. And I'm going to show you specific numbers in the next section so you can wrap your mind around how to apply this to your campaigns. You want to scale what is proven and expand slowly to establish strong sales history. Remember, everything you do in the first phases of this build, and a lot of the times I've had people ask questions and they're ready to get in and start setting stuff up and go live, you need to be careful. You need to be at least strategic in everything you're selecting and everything that's going on in your campaign, that it is driving sales, it is driving performance, because you are absolutely in view of the algorithm the second you hit the enable button. Now it's an iterative process, right? Advertising is not a one-trick pony. It is always ongoing. So you don't want to put too much pressure on that process, but you do want to, which is why we spent 4 weeks here, you want to be very strategic in your first targeting, very strategic in your management of those keywords, because at the end of the day, you are in a game with the algorithm and it is keeping score. And it's scoring you against your competitors. It's an auction-based system. You're right up in the neck of it with your competitors. So you really want to be sure that you are tracking all of those things and that you are meticulous in your selection and you are really giving it a good go right out the gate, because that sales history is going to define your cost. It's going to define your rank. It's going to define everything you need to make it work. So let's talk a little bit about budget, because I've had so many people ask. So the first step with budget, so you're going to start, first of all, every product, and I'm going to go into some details next about products and how they turn into campaigns and how you determine how many campaigns per product and how many ad groups. So let's just start with a basic product like the beard oil. Let's say we're selling beard oil. It's going to be a very simple build. This is the campaign. This is one campaign for beard oil. Just one. My first group of ad groups that I'm going to build and test, remember, it's iterative. It goes on over time. It's a cycle, right? Advertising is a feedback loop, so we don't get it all on day one. We do our very best to get a good campaign structure, and then we're constantly building on that structure every week, every month, every year over time, and it grows like a flywheel. It's the same principle that Amazon uses to grow the core business. Advertising is driven like a flywheel. You keep turning it and you keep turning it and you keep turning it, and it picks up more and more and more velocity, and it's like a snowball, right? So with this, you aren't going to try to come in and do everything at once. You can start out, if this is a new product, brand new product, okay? You're trying to figure out where to test it. You've got good feedback, you've got good reviews, and you're ready to go live with ads. The first 3 ad groups you should build are brand, shop, and browse. Those modified keywords, maybe some keywords that will scoop up traffic. Again, if I were talking about this, I might have shop as beard oil for men. If my beard oil had a growth element, it might be beard oil growth. My browse would just be beard oil, and my brand would be, say, Viking or Honest Amish, whatever brand I'm selling, right? Those are my brand keywords, whatever brand I'm selling. So your brand keywords get built out, your shop keywords get built out, and your browse keywords get built out. That's the very first core campaign structure that you start with. Now, if you're on a really tight budget, you do not start with browse, right? I would start with the lower search volume, because that's what I can afford to do on a good budget. So I would do beard oil for men. I would bypass the browse keyword beard oil, because I would just need to bypass on browse if I have a budget. If I have a budget constraint, it's an obstacle. I need to address it before I start. So if you have a tight budget, brand and shop, good feature and benefit driven keywords in your shop group, good your brand keywords targeting your brand, so you scoop up that visibility, you scoop up those sales on the back end. And then if you have additional budget, you're going to hit browse. The slightly more general keywords, but not so broad, they're not relevant. Now we get those things running. Those ad groups are going to run for 30 days. They're going to need to get some data. They're going to need to get some sales history. And to be honest with you guys, you're going to need to bid for rank. It's a fairly time-consuming process when you first start out. I mean, nothing easy is won without work. So at the end of it, you know, you have to do the work to get it where it's going to be at, and it's going to be tremendously successful if you put in the work. But it's not going to just happen on its own. So you have to bid for rank on those shop and browse keywords at the ad group level. You do have to rank them at the top of search. You need to spend some time holding those positions, moving away some of the competitors in your placements. You got to be doing all of that in search on your keywords at this core level at the first thing you implement. Now, once those keywords are successful and these groups are ranked, then you can go ahead after 30 days and you'll pull a search term report. For those of you guys now, you come into the middle with me. Now you already have a product and you have a search term report. Now, if you haven't ran a lot of manual campaigns, you don't really have a search term report because auto campaigns don't give you the right keywords to do the strategies we've outlined here. They're not feature and benefit keywords because feature and benefit keywords are expensive on Amazon and they're not giving them away in auto campaigns. So if you're talking about your auto campaigns, you're not going to be able to mine the really golden keywords that will produce the sales. You're going to have to test those, find those, and do them manually. But if you have a campaign where you've ran manual campaigns, then you're right here with me in the middle. You're on your tier 2 second phase strategy, which is ad groups 2. At this point, you're going to go through your search term report. Anything that is converting to sales, but it is above your target ACoS, is going to go into buy with a keyword level capped bid that works with your numbers. I'll show you some examples here next. Anything that has 2+ sales and is just converting at your target ACoS or above, that goes into scale. What's the difference between buy and scale? Well, your buy groups are going to be managed at the keyword level with a bid based on their performance history. It's designed to cap the spend on those keywords. They're not profitable. They have a high ACoS. Your scale group is going to have one bid set high for rank at the ad group level. Right? So keyword level bidding when you're losing money, ad group level bidding when you're making money, right? So make that differentiation right here if you have existing campaigns. Keyword level bids when you're losing money, ad group level bids when you're making money. When you're making money, you say to the algorithm, I want every single bit of traffic you will give me on this keyword. I want anything, anywhere, anytime. And I want the first position. I want all sales. I want the market. This is profitable for me. Things that are losing you money, like any good fiscally sound manager, you're going to go in and you're going to cap them. You're not going to let those guys bleed the budget that you need for scale, right? So buy keyword level, scale, ad group level. Difference is all in the ACoS. Buy is for the stuff that's not profitable. Scale is for the stuff that's working very well and making you money. From there, okay, so now, depending on where you're at with your budget, depending where you're at with your strategy and how much of this you've won, because you win piece by piece, bird by bird, stitch by stitch, right? So you win these groups, got your shop, got your browse. Now you're over here in buy and scale. Really put your focus on those because you want to be ranking on scale. Buy is there to keep building keyword history on stuff that's selling without bleeding your bank, but scale is the money shot. Those keywords need to be ranking. They're coming out of your search term report. They're proven to convert to sales. You've discovered them through good keyword discovery. That's the gold. Now, if all that is working well for you and you have budget still, your next thing that you do is you take your highest converting keywords with good search volume, nothing long tail, talking mid tail here, like something like beard oil. If it's converting for you, it's making you money, it's working, you're going to put that into a single keyword group, broad and phrase, right? So those are where you're going to start to really start getting scale and visibility. You're definitely going to increase your spend, but you're also going to increase your sales and your search term mining on steroids. So this is a 1-2 punch in your second phase. First is to get the buy scale right? And when we pull search terms out of our search term report, they go in as exact match. Exact match. That's how we leverage our match type there. Now, if we see these keywords that are really jamming for us, boom, they go single broad, single phrase, one keyword per group. That's what you do next with your budget. You put your money, your small bets on those keywords that are making you all the money, and you get a lot more visibility, and you get very aggressive at that ad group level bid, and you get ranked, and you continue to rank. And as you pull more keywords out of the scale group that have high traffic, have great performance, you're going to start to see those things really expand. Your single groups are only the top 20% of your keywords. It would be unusual, even in a campaign doing millions of dollars, like I have one right now doing $5 million a month. Okay, even if your campaign is driving 5 million in total sales velocity, total sales, and whatever it's driving in ad sales, if it's driving 5 million in total sales, even then it would be unusual to have more than 10 of these single groups. There's just really, in Amazon, it's an 80-20 game. You really want to pick those 20% of your keywords that drive 80% of your sales, and you'll see it clear as day in a search term report. Now, the last thing you do here, again, while competitors are the true opportunity here, way big opportunity for scale and visibility, you cannot go after those pages until you've won your keywords. You've got to have the category keywords working for you before you dive in and start putting ad dollars. Ad dollars, again, you have to be fiscally sound, right? This is about money management. It's a financial investment. Before you go throw your money at the competitors, you need to be sure that you've got the category keywords, because otherwise you're going to be writing checks with your campaign that your campaigns can't cash, right? You're going to be putting a lot of visibility on the competitors' pages, and then when people come back to search, you're not there to be found. So you got to 1-2 this, and you should do it in phases. Now, if you're aggressive and you have a full budget, you can roll out all of these things at once. And a lot of people do. I have clients that do it every day. So you can roll out these things in one phase, but you need to be sure that you've already won some of this ground. And I would be certain before I would even load up my competitors, even if a client has open budget, I'm going to win these keywords over a 30, 60, 90-day cycle, and then I'm going to pop in those competitors. So you can do everything in group 1 and 2 all at once. But group 3 should be reserved for after you've won 1 and 2. Now, here's the other interesting piece. After you've won 1 and 2 and you've reached capacity, you've hit all the implied demand in your keywords, the ticket to scale is competitors. So I have some campaigns I've been running for 2 years now that I can get more traction on competitors' pages than I can out of keywords, because I have all the real estate on my main keywords. Every keyword related to my product that converts, I have it, I own it, I am number 1. So now the only place for me to get additional visibility, additional impressions, to create demand and drive more sales, competitors, right? So competitors is definitely a game for kind of the high level game, but make sure you get ad groups 1 nailed and performing, ad groups 2 nailed and performing. The other key thing to define here is that you have to have a search term report between ad groups 1 and 2. Ad groups 1 and 2. Ad groups 2 are powered solely by the data in the search term report. There are no other things that will make these ad groups happen. They happen strictly off a search term report and data mining. So ad groups 1 are all you can do without a search term report. Ad groups 1 are all you can do without a budget. Brand and shop are all you want to do if you have a small budget, you want to test this, sound, you don't want to get stressed out, brand and shop. So this should give you a good idea of how to manage your budget and how to plan. Okay, so now let's look at some examples of how I have so many questions like this, and I really want to kind of show you guys the thinking behind all of these concepts and give you kind of front and center ideas of how it happens. Okay, so here's an example product. This is on coffee, right? So first of all, your campaign structure will be based on your keyword research. And I'm going to show you 3 good campaign structures here that work. And then I'm going to show you how you set this up. I get a lot of questions about how many products per campaign, how many products per ad group. I'm going to show you exactly, there's only 3 ways. Like everything else, it's pretty simple. There's only 3 ways to build this that's going to work. I can tell you that as an expert. There's only 3 ways you can go to build this that's going to really happen for you at scale. The first way is this one. As you can see, I'm selling a coffee product. I go do my keyword research for coffee. And as I pull my keywords, I realize there are 4 distinct categories of coffee shoppers, right? Some are looking for espresso, some, which means something strong, some are looking for coffee K-cups, the little things that go in those Keurig machines. Some people want whole beans. They have a grinder. They want to grind their own coffee. And some want ground coffee in the can, scoop it out, make it happen, got to go. Okay, so there's only really, if I don't have an espresso product, there's only really 3 key categories here, right? I have a K-cup that goes as cups in a machine. I've got a whole bean and I've got ground. That's it. Now with this, look at the search volume. If you go look at this broad search volume, I've got 352,000 searches a month for K-cups. That is a massive category on Amazon. You get so many impressions on Amazon and so much traffic. Oh my gosh, this channel, as you guys know, is popping. It is so crazy, packed with people shopping by the second. So 352,000 searches on Amazon is a mega category. It is a mega campaign. It is mega expensive and it will need to be really optimized well to rank. So now I look at these and I say, okay, I have K-cups, I have coffee beans, I have ground coffee. Okay, so the deal with this is these are all so many searches that I need to put these in their own campaigns. Not only are they so many searches, but they're distinctly unique products, right? I can see that people looking for K-cups, well, they really want K-cups, right? They really want something that goes in that little capsule in that machine. And I know people looking for whole beans want to grind it themselves fresh. They have a definite preference. And people looking for ground coffee are looking for ground. Here's the deal. The word coffee is useless here because no one looking for coffee is just looking for coffee. You can see by the search terms, they have definite preferences and they all fall in a bucket. So the bucket they fall in is K-cups, beans, or ground. So my product must have its own campaigns to accommodate those searches because the features and benefits are implied in the search. If I am selling to the K-cup crowd, I must have a cup. If I am selling to the bean crowd, I must have a bean. If I am selling to the ground crowd, I must have a ground. So those are 3 distinctly different products, all within the coffee category. And because the search volume is so high, I need a different campaign for each one. Only because the search volume, it's huge. It's going to take a separate campaign to really get this nailed and to keep my sanity managing it and also keep my structure and kind of break it down to where it makes sense to me as a manager, and then more importantly to the market and the algorithm as I start to sell like clockwork, right? So this is one example of how you would build 3 campaigns, 3 separate campaigns with the structure we reviewed here. Each campaign would have its own universe of these things, right? The shop keywords are mostly going to be about K-cup on K-cup. My shop keywords are going to be about whole bean on whole bean, right? My shop keywords are going to be about ground on ground. Now here's where you get kind of interesting in that search, right? So you can kind of start to think, okay, this is how these are going to go into campaigns, right? But then you can also see that you have a lot of keyword potential here and a lot of mining to do on these keywords. The broad phrase search volume is about 352,000 on K-cups, which means of all the searches done, 270,000 of them are done with additional words. They probably have specific machines, they probably have specific criteria, and you have to match those. That's why you search term mine. So this kind of gives you an indication of how to see these keywords, how to make them into a campaign. So as you have your product pages, you're gonna have a whole bean page, you're gonna have a ground page, you have a K-cup page if you have the product. Next we go to beard oil. This is a totally different type of product. I pull the keywords for beard oil. I'm going down the pipeline. What does beard oil look like? Just so you guys know, I do this because I'm not an Amazon seller. I do advertising for a living. This is what I do all day. So people give me products and I go figure out how to sell them with advertising. So someone hands me beard oil and I say, okay, what am I gonna do with this guy? So I go look at this one in a keyword report and I say, okay, 152,000, 152K in search volume. That's not scary. Certainly by the stuff that I run, it's not scary. So I'm just gonna take beard oil, right? At this point, there's no segments here. And this is where people get tricky. They think, do I need a separate campaign or a separate, something for these keywords. Outside of the fact if I had a kit would go somewhere else. But outside of the word kit, you know, these are really just beard oil keywords, and they would all go in one campaign, back to that same structure I just spent time going over with you. One campaign, one product, right? The search demand implies right here that I only need one campaign to tackle this market. There's not a lot of demand. I just need to get it and get it clean. You can also see that there's not as much variation in the search. When I get to beard oil, I got 152K in broad. I got 62,000 in exact. You know what I mean? It's like almost 3x. It's not a huge, you know, broad mining thing gonna happen here like it is on coffee. So that's gonna show me kind of how I set that up. Now for negatives, I use single keywords. So if my beard product is not a growth product, I do a negative growth. If it is not a kit, I do a negative kit. Do I put like negative exact match beard oil kit and try to trick the algorithm to saving me a few cents and reverse engineering everything? I do not. I do not. I actually just say, hey, if there's a search for kit, please don't show my ad. If there's a search for growth, please don't show my ad, because those keywords will not convert for me, because those features and benefits don't describe my product. Now I have a single product page. There's a 1-pack, there's a 2-pack, which is standard stuff, but essentially I just sell beard oil on that page. One product, one campaign, that's it. Now we go back to the third example we did of Levi's jeans. Different kind of setup here, totally different setup. Now we look at our keywords, right? And we can see that this market for skinny jeans, without question, has some preference. They like ripped skinny jeans. They like black skinny jeans. They want blue skinny jeans. Now, when I have skinny jeans, those products are slightly different, right? Because obviously if they're blue, they're blue. They're black, they're black. They're ripped, they're ripped. Okay, now I don't go build a separate campaign for these, because if I look at the search volume, there's just not a ton of demand for the ripped. And there's very little demand for black skinny. It's 4,500 searches a month. I don't think I need a separate campaign to manage that guy. I just need one ad group. So one of my ad groups will be defined as black. And within that black ad group, I'm going to advertise just my black. Now in my skinny jeans and my skinny jeans for women, I'm doing my best seller. Whatever ASIN clocks it, whatever ASIN has a high unit session percentage in my business reports, that's going in those. But yes, the ripped jeans on my listing, they're going in their own ripped jeans ASIN, you know, little ad group. My black skinny jeans are gonna go in a black ad group. My blue are gonna go in a blue, like my indigo, the darker blue. That's pretty much the deal there, right? 3 ad groups, because my modifiers are so unique, probably just gonna set them up as, you know, I'll probably just set those up as their own ad groups. I definitely might even set them up as singles because the demand is so low. Ripped skinny jeans, black skinny jeans, blue skinny jeans, single ad groups, let them go as they will. But that's how I would separate those. They would not have their own campaigns with that low of search volume. The entire category, the entire product has 217,000 searches. It's not gonna really be efficient for me to go put these in their own campaigns. These can go as separate ad groups within one campaign. So here's another thing that I think is super important as you think about your advertising, because people get really hung up on this and they want to advertise every SKU and every variety, and they want to run the multiple keywords to advertise all the products. If you have a parent-child relationship, that is completely unnecessary. That is completely unnecessary, because people are very smart. And if you weren't going to rely on people to be smart, you can definitely rely on Jeff Bezos and Amazon to be very smart. This page is designed for shoppers. This page is designed for self-selection. All the colors are on one page. People will self-select. If you bring them in from skinny jeans for women, trust me, they will come to this page and buy loads of skinny jeans. They will find the size and the color that suits them. They will not get confused. Now, if you would like to target your black to your black, you can do that as an ad group. But no, your big juicy keywords like jeans for women and women's jeans are just gonna come here. Women's skinny jeans are gonna come here and self-select. And I can show you in the data that this is true. Here is off of this product page, the total revenue. right? Each one of these variations is driving 640K, 640, right? 629. Look at the revenue for 1 month. It's like over $1 million, right? So obviously people come to this page and they buy all these ASINs. So why in the world would you double down on your spend, your keywords, and your risk on things like skinny jeans? There's no need for it. You only have one product. People will self-select. So if you have a child-parent relationship, leverage it in advertising. It is so golden. And what I mean by golden is because you have this amazing situation where people self-select and keep buying. So this is another thing you should keep in mind as you rush to your piggy bank when we're trying to rob a train. If you are only basing it on your ACOS, but you have a product like this and you are driving like skinny jeans searches all day to this page, this is called brand halo. All these searches are happening as a result of that one ASIN you're advertising. People are self-selecting, and that's going into your total sales. So know that it's not like one keyword, one click on Amazon. Seriously, if you have a parent-child relationship, you can stack the cash by simply advertising your best-selling ASIN to be efficient with your investment. Make sure that you get the most clicks, you get the highest percentage of conversions, you get the very best sales history. It's competitive. Put your best player in there, let it win, and all this gravy will fall off the back, right? So be sure that you're thinking about that with your parent-child relationships. You do not have 40 SKUs to advertise. You have one best-selling SKU with some good keywords. You're not getting crazy here. You're not just saying jeans. You're not just saying women's jeans. You're saying skinny jeans. You're putting your small bet on skinny jeans. They're gonna come here and self-select. Okay. Now we get to placements, the other huge opportunity that we get so many questions about. So here we are with placements. There's only 2 places that you can run a placement campaign as of date. There's so many more coming down the pipeline, but let's start with what we have right now. Sponsored products related to this item. If you're in this table, it's on the product page. This is from the Honest Amish product. You can see sponsored products related to this item. This is going to be where your ads from sponsored products show up when you target competitors' keywords and when you run auto campaigns. And if you run a manual ad group within your campaign targeting your competitors' keywords, you will show up on the page here. If you double down and put an auto campaign together effectively with that good seed negative list we talk about, nothing crazy, you will get double down traffic. I find that the overlay of keywords and auto campaigns, having both running, almost always wins me sponsored products related to this item. That's one way that you can rank. If I'm looking at these numbers right here, something we reviewed in the market share class, my second campaign down is a competitive keyword campaign. And it's gone ahead and driven 690 orders for me, only after scale. So my scale group drove 872 orders, and my competitive group drove 690. And then I have an auto running in here too to double down and make sure I get visibility. That's one way to do it. Competitors' keywords, auto campaigns, run both. You'll hit these pages. There's no science to it. You can't tell Amazon what to do with your stuff. It's got to sell. It's got to rank. It's like the other pieces of this. You got to make it work, right? You still have the standard obstacles of ranking, conversion, CPC, but you'll get through them and you'll get here. I have won these positions over and over again. Next is going to be these positions over here under the buy box. And there's different variations of this layout, but product display is what you're looking for. It's a little like strangely structured, and Amazon tends to take a lot of their own placement now because they just generously want to do that for themselves. So the thing that we have here though is this is a placement potential under the buy box. If you're going to use this, this is done through AMS. If you have an AMS account, it's a placement targeted campaign. The difference between placement and manual is that this manual will work effectively if each product has its own ad group with all the competitors' keywords that are relevant in it. So each product has its own ad group with all the keywords in it. That will perform really well. If you're coming down to take this kind of spot with AMS and product display, you want to get more granular, right? You want to put product display together for each individual ASIN because you can. So they're a little bit of a different strategy. If you're doing AMS, Amazon Marketing Services, you can do product display, and you can put those ASINs in as targets. I like to segment them by brand. If I'm coming after a brand I want on their pages in AMS, I tend to do it by brand. Each individual product display is by brand. If I'm coming after sponsored products after massive testing and refining this, we've done it a million different ways. The very best way is to put them all in one ad group as of now. And then the second thing that's really been working effectively in the past quarter has been to load up that auto campaign on top of it. So initially we did a lot of product display. We did a lot of keywords kind of segmented like we do product display, but it doesn't work as well. All competitors' keywords, one group. I've got one going on right here with 690 sales. If you're coming into product display and AMS, separate them out by ASIN. You don't target ASINs and sponsored products, you target the brand keywords. You don't target, keywords over here, you target ASINs. Same thing though, you're hitting the same pages, right? So as we look at that, we can review our numbers. This is from a placement report. So you go into Seller Central, you go into advertising reports in the reports menu, you select placement report from the drop down, and this will pull this. Now, depending on how your campaigns are structured and organized, and I guarantee you after Act 2, they will no longer be messy, because messy campaigns is messy results. So these are not messy campaigns. These are my campaigns. They are clean, they are labeled, and they are, I do it for a living though. So if you can see here, we've got manual and auto campaigns here, and you can see, like we discussed, my top of search conversions are going to be at the very top. I'm getting 84% of my conversions to sales out of top of search, right? And then my other visibility on Amazon is fairly low out of the manual, right? It's not non-existent, but it's great visibility, but not great conversions. You can easily see that other on Amazon is where all the impressions are driven. So if you look at column C, those are impressions. Just to review, an impression is every time your ad is shown in the network. That is like end cap visibility. It is your packaging, it is your brand, it is your title. It is being shown over and over repetitively. Every one of these impressions you do not pay for. You only pay for the clicks. So it's incredibly valuable to you to focus on other on Amazon by getting more scale and more reach. It happens organically with good structured campaigns. All my campaigns do this. It's not like a, intricate science where you're telling Amazon what to do for you. You have to win over time and keep optimizing with the strategies I teach. And this is how a winning hand looks. You're going to see your top of search drives 80% of sales. You're going to see your other on Amazon, like placements on the pages and other places, is driving 80% of impressions, right? A little bit of a different formula there, but it's really important to keep that in mind. So now let's look at the search term report so I can show you exactly how obstacles come to play. So in this particular campaign, I have a lot of keywords working for me. This is a scale, this is like my full product campaign breakdown in a search term report. This is an active campaign that's running for me right now. Now here's what I want you guys to pay attention to, the columns that are highlighted, and you should be looking at this in your search term reports. Okay, ACOS, that is the almighty, right? We are optimizing to ACOS, but it's not actionable. There's nothing we're gonna do with this ACOS but use it as a measurement. It's just a temperature control. We can't tweak the ACOS. We can only tweak these other obstacles, conversion, cost per click, right? We can't tweak the ACOS itself. So if I look over here, you can see how many sales I'm driven over right next to ACOS. So I've got a single keyword, search term variation, driving 557 sales. And this is just my most recent report, so maybe over 60 days. 394 sales, 281 sales, 274 sales, 265, 262, 197. These campaigns have been built just mining mid-tail to long tail. I have hundreds of keywords working for me, but I did not guess on any of them. I took the ones at the very beginning, that core stuff I'm showing you in the shop and browse. I took those, I tested those, I mined. This is just something I have done over time in this campaign. My ACOS looks really good. I have a really good margin on this product, so I have a really good ACOS threshold. I can get all the way up to 35%. So I look at my ACOS targets, I look at my orders. Now what I want you to do is, I added these formulas, and you're gonna take search term mining in week 5, which is next. We're gonna go through your search term report so you know how to do this. But I added this click to sale ratio column. It shows me, you can gauge it by conversion rate. I'm converting at 29%, 32%, 42%. Those are amazing conversion rates. You would never see those conversion rates out on a normal website. Your click to conversion rate is about 3%. So if you're running cold traffic like Google AdWords to a Shopify page, your conversion is going to be 3%. I have driven more Google AdWords traffic than I would even like to claim. It is not in the millions, but in the billions. Billions of sales I have driven through Google AdWords across huge accounts, spending like 26 million a month. And I'm going to tell you that 3% is what you can expect on a click to sale conversion if you are jamming. Now I'm over here in Amazon converting at 29%. Talk about an opportunity. This search term report, these keywords are a massive opportunity. 29%, 32%, 24%, 29%. These are converting like crazy, right? Then over here, I do this other calculation that helps me kind of put my mind around this is, okay, what is my click to sale ratio? If I'm converting like that, how many clicks does it take me to get a sale, right? It's always a conversion issue. These are golden. This is sales. This is good ACOS. Look at my average CPC. I just want you to compare this to the next slide. My average CPC is like $2. I'm bidding like $6.50, $7.50 here. My average CPC is like $2, $1, 89 cents, $1.59. Super good CPCs. These are very, very manageable considering I'm converting at 30% on average, right? I have a great ACOS. If I were to average this guy out, I'm definitely like in the 25, maybe 30% range. Then I would come over here and I would say, okay, click to sale ratio looks good. I'm converting a sale in about every 3 to 5 clicks, most like 3 to 4, click, 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 sell. Click, 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 sell. That is amazing, okay? If you've done cold traffic, if you are a media buyer, if you are an expert, that is an amazing conversion rate. And this is at scale, been going on for a long time. So now this is all opportunity. It's all mined search terms. This is the opportunity. Now we get to my obstacle. I have to manage my obstacles because they show up in every campaign. Wherever there's gold, there's also, well, I don't know what you call it, but it's not gold. So I come and I flip it around and now I start looking at my bad ACOS. I sort by ACOS and I look at this. Do you see the problems? They're as clear as day. Look at those average CPCs. The ones that are driving sales profitably, I'm getting $2, $1, 89 cents. The ones that I'm not, $3, $2, $3, $3. There's only one thing making those CPCs go up. Really not valuable keywords, possibly inflated by competitors, but most likely I'm just not relevant on them. It's just not, it's a relevancy issue. There's something in my targeting not bringing in the sales. Now, if you really want to do an acid test, you can look at the ACOS. Once again, it's so not actionable. What do I do with that ACOS? It's terrible. 167, 124, and it's only a few orders. I need to have a lot of orders to make decisions. All these 2s will be gone. 13 is definitely gone. So now I can make decisions. These will be capped to a target CPC. But before I do that, what I want to show you is the click to sale ratio and the conversion rate. It's dropped from about 30% on average to 5%, 4%, 6%. There's nothing I'm going to do in the history of time to make a keyword work for me at any kind of profitability if I can only convert it at 5%. So if I'm sending an algorithm a signal, these opportunities, hey, give me more of this, 557 orders at 29%. I bet you want to show my ad more here. 394 orders at 32%. Bet you want to show me here. Why in the world would I let this stuff even run? Unless it's a primary keyword that defines your category and you should be winning on those, you don't even need these because there's nothing you can do with a keyword that converts at 5% on Amazon. That's a really low conversion rate. And an average CPC in the $3 range is useless. We already know I need more like $1.80, right? So $2. Like, these are crazy numbers. These are problems. These are keywords. These need to just go away. Pause them, put a super low bid on them, do whatever you want to do, but these are your obstacles, manage them at the keyword level, and it's always going to be the same problem. It's a conversion problem, it's a CPC problem. Sometimes you'll get to this column and the conversion rate looks awesome. Your click to sale ratio isn't tragic, you know? But here you go down here. I've got like an 8 and a 7 click to sale ratio. It's still not good because my average is 4 to 5, but man, look at that CPC, it's $4. I could be converting every 4 clicks, and at $4, I've still got a $16 CPA, right? It doesn't make sense. So it's just one of these problems. Don't cry over spilled milk. Get these guys out, kill them, move on, kill the keywords, keep going, right? That's why I call killer keywords. Just knock it out, get them out of there. You have killer keywords, then you have keywords you need to kill. These need to be killed. Now, the other thing is brand. A lot of people say, why would I bid on my own brand terms? Why would I do that? Well, I think for 5% ACoS and $669,000 worth of sales, I think building your brand keywords is a good move in Amazon. These are brand searches that I have done through one product. This is an awesome campaign. This is an awesome account. This is an awesome product. But you could tell I'm driving a lot of 32% conversions off of this main seed keyword. I am balancing it with my brand sales. Those brand sales are mine. I own all real estate on my brand. I'm paying 5%. Again, put down your piggy bank. You're going to pay 5% to capture an additional $669,000 guaranteed. If you leave it up to your competitors to take those spots on your brand searches, what are you thinking? You know what I mean? What are you thinking, man? I mean, if you do that, it's not guaranteed. I'd rather spend 5% ACoS and guarantee $669K versus put away my piggy bank and then hope that my competitors don't steal my brand searches. All right, so next week we have so much. So first of all, there is a step-by-step Act 1 download that is so close. It's about 30 steps. We've released a new competitive analysis download. Hopefully you guys have that. We've had it out now for more than a week. We have a full download to cover all the strategies from Act 1, so you can go through it front to back and tackle that, which will be ready for you probably end of day today. And then from there, next week we cover the search term report. We dive into Act 2, which is going to be about campaigns, building those campaigns, rebuilding what you have, building them out from scratch. We're going to talk about search terms in the first week. We're going to talk about campaign structure in general in the next week. Then we're going to go into the nitty-gritty of good search campaigns, good placement campaigns. And that's what we're doing in Act 2 is the campaign setup and build. That's where we work with the algorithm. We work our magic to put a structure together that kind of, puts the algorithm under our spell, puts it on our side so that we can really knock out all the competitors that are in our way.